What's up guys? Today we got Milos in the chair and we're gonna do something that's actually gonna be extremely valuable for you guys, because a lot of you guys, I know for a fact, get hair like this in your chair. And a lot of the times people actually start getting a little bit nervous when a client walks in like this. So today I'm gonna show you guys in a very simple, easy way on how to cut this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by sectioning off the back and the sides and the front, but the main focus is actually layers. Milos, unfortunately, can't necessarily allow me to do whatever I want because he's a model. And with models, you got to keep the same look, because if you change the look, then you have to change the entire campaign, and that's going to cost him and the agency a lot of money. So today we're going to maintain a lot of what we have, but we're going to make it a lot easier for him to style and manage his hair. The issue isn't the fact that it's long, the issue is that internally it's too heavy. So what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna start with layers on top, and we're gonna work with texture throughout this entire haircut, because the more texture I put in, the more movement we have, the easier it'll be for him to style his hair. If we look at his hair actually through the back, it's sitting quite flat and heavy. So the goal here is actually to go with something square, and as we get towards the sides, you could see there's a lot of heaviness and puffiness. We're gonna round this off. So the shape here is gonna be round. Everything from the sides are gonna be elevated to the top. The line itself is gonna be cut square, and very simply at the very bottom where the bangs are, we're gonna go with something that's a little bit more textured. But the intention here, to be honest guys, is not to go ahead and blow dry something that sits tighter with the sides or go and create some crazy blow dries. We want to keep this very natural. This has to be very rough, very natural, because that is how he's going to wear his hair regardless. Let's get right into it. So guys, if I'm going to be completely honest, this is something that everyone needs to learn on how to do. Because when a client comes like this, if you truly know how to break it down and communicate that language with the client, like I just did, right? Explain to them what you're going to do. And again, explanation of how you do it doesn't have to be technical. I'm not going to go and tell him I'm going to do all these crazy layers. I'm going to do all this stuff. He doesn't care about that, nor does he know any of that. What he wants is he wants to maintain a lot of what he currently has, but he wants to make it easier for him to style. He wants layers because he wants movement. He wants to remove the weight, and that's the way you communicate that language with the client. You don't go and tell them I'm doing 90-degree angles and graduation and layers. They don't care about that. They want something that's easier for them to style. They can replicate at home, and it's going to be nice when he goes and styles it himself. Okay guys, so now what we want to do, center profile all the way towards the back. This is what's going to establish balance. I just got made fun of recently, like, why are you doing all this? Why are you doing all this useless? It's because the center of the nose is balance. If I look at the center, that's the profile, that's the most middle part of his face. Why would I not use that as a reference point? I literally got made fun of for using that as a reference point, because now I know I could completely create balance throughout the haircut. This allows me to know what the center part of the face to the head looks like, so I can make the panels perfectly straight. All right, center parting is done. Side of the head. Okay, I'm gonna take now apex all the way to the mastoid, is what you call a radial section. So just like that, boom, look at that. Beautifully section, again, very meticulous. Okay, so now at this point, we've separated the sides, the top and the other side. It's time to get into our layers. So we're gonna start with something that's square. We still wanna build the weight here, but let me show you how much weight we have. The reason why I wanna start with something vertical is because I wanna control the weight from the crown all the way towards the nape, and this is how I'll be able to control it best rather than doing it horizontally. Okay, separate again the very bottom. Nice and clean. And a razor, why a razor? Texture, we want texture and movement. This is what's gonna allow me to do it. 1 finger's width, okay? As I was picking this up, I did feel like it's slightly too big. So I'm gonna go with something slightly smaller. Especially because I'm working with thicker hair, I want more control, so my sections will be slightly smaller. Okay, I pick this up. Head position comes straight from the bottom. Okay, making sure I see the weight. There we go. And I'm just gonna go ahead, and from the occipital, that'll be my first initial point of length. Okay, I look at where the occipital is. Based on that, I make a decision. So here we go. Just looking at it from the root. Okay, I'm more focused on where the occipital is. There we go. Okay, now from the top, I'm gonna pick this up, making sure it's nice and square in here as well. Okay, I'm losing a little bit of my section, so I go back, making sure I'm nice and clean. And there we go. Okay, now we're gonna go separate now that half, and we're gonna work the same way all the way throughout. Boom, guidelines in here. I'm looking at the root. Coming back from the bottom. Again, I'm looking at the root. I could see it being slightly over directed, so we go back into it. Boom. Coming from the top. Okay, we got 2 more sections left before we move on towards the other side. Now I'm completely almost on the side of the head. Okay guys, so now we're gonna use the guide from the back. We're gonna go ahead and you see, and we're gonna just refine. And we're gonna go completely square to retain some of the lengths from the front. And at this point, this is when we start over directing from the very bottom. Okay, check the guide, beautiful. Very visual. We want to keep all the lengths at the bottom. Reason for this, he wants to keep it longer. And this is how we allow for more movement, but also making sure we're retaining the weight so it's more of a longer style. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna blow dry it now. We're gonna see how everything is sitting. All right guys, so overall the shape's looking a lot better. If I bring this up, you're gonna notice that we put a bit more sea salt around the sides and the top. And what I wanna see, which is what I'm looking at now, is overall a shape that, there we go, we still have a little bit of that external length from the back. The weight on the sides is still there, but we have something that's just sitting a lot easier and better. But again, we're gonna keep this super rough when it comes to the blow dry because we wanna keep it very natural, but we've still maintained the length, and he has something that's just gonna sit a lot easier. So let's make sure that we're diffusing this, keeping that natural texture, and personalizing at the very end. All right guys, so this is my final look on Milos, and as you guys notice, everything is very much layered. We have this beautiful texture through the back, through the sides, very natural. Again, if he runs his hands through it, it's gonna sit just really well because we have all that beautiful razor cutting that's been done. So it's very natural, it's very textured. And what you notice is the sides have been elevated to the top. The back has been layered square vertically and then round horizontally. So we reduced the weight at the very bottom. And then for the top, we went with something square. So we've kept most of the length from the front, and then we pretty much kept it all long because the sides were heavy. So we didn't even have to necessarily go back and retouch it. And what you have is just this very natural look and textured look while keeping it very dry. And as you notice, we still have a lot of this length, a lot of this texture, and that's just gonna move really well and easy for him to manage. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love cutting this, especially because it was all done with a razor, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.